On this episode of Motorhead Garage, Sam and Dave will whip these off-road vehicles into shape. We'll outfit this UTV with a new suit of armor, and we'll dress up this small block Chevy as only ARP can.
Let me get this thing off here, Russ, and then we can get to work. Hey, welcome to another edition of Motorhead Garage. Well, folks, a lot of you guys out there have ATVs and these four-wheelers. You love to ride them off-road. But we got Russ Annis here from Tribal Whips, who's got something really special for these. And welcome to the show, Russ. You know, a lot of these guys have to run a whip and a flag on these things, depending on what area of the country they're in, or do they have to run it all over the country like that?
There are certain places that are regulated, mostly out west.
You got to run that during the daytime, but
Correct.
At night, you got to run something else.
That's right. At nighttime, instead of running a flag that's not lighted, this one's fully lighted.
Okay, and I was telling you a little bit about this. This is a LED whip, right?
Yeah, this is an LED lighted whip. What makes it special is really the design of the circuitry, the liquid filling in it, which protects all the circuitry from the vibrations created by these vehicles, which is really high because of the engines. It's very strong, obviously. And
of course, it comes with a flag, and you get different flags for that, I suppose,
yes,
right?
Yes.
And you get different colors on this as well,
correct,
right?
yeah, this one.
All right, now what we have here, really easy to install, comes complete with everything you need. It's got a mounting bracket, a bolt. Now, a lot of these ATVs have a little bracket right here that'll allow you to mount these whips. We're going to go ahead and get this one started. In the meantime, Sam's working on something special over there on his.
All right, the unit I've got here is a little bit different. Pretty exciting unit, it's brand new. Now, all of these side-by-sides, these UTVs, ATVs, there's always a place where it says flag or mast. You got to have some kind of a whip so people can see, especially coming across the dunes. Well, this setup is really nice. Bolts on into place, you got your little adapter that goes here. Now, you take our Tribal whip, you install it. It's got a pin, slide it through here, it locks it in. The neat part is, this is wireless. There's no connector, there's no jack, no plug or anything that'll break. There's plugs in here. All you have to do is wire it into your tail light. So when you turn on your lights, you got your whip here all lit up. So what I got to do now is go ahead and take my lead, run it into my tail light. So I got to pull this little trim off here, get to the tail light wires, hook into it, and the kit comes complete with some Scotch lock connectors. They'll work great, especially if you want to put it on the trail and go riding. But you really can do a nice job if you solder it, heat shrink it, make it nice. So I'll pull this panel off and we'll be in great shape.
All right, you can see we got our Tribal whip mounted now. Got our wiring hanging out here. Now what we've got to do is wire this into the electrical circuit here. So what I've done is I've pulled out the stop light and brake light here. The trick is to find the hot wire. Now Russ, you want to turn this thing on?
Sure.
Hold me to ground, and I think probably that's the gray wire it usually is on something like this, but I always like to double check it. And yep, I'm getting current. It's just the gray wire.
Okay.
So we're in business, so shut that off. Now, the kit comes with your Scotch locks, and you get your pigtail here. Put this in right here. Go. Okay, now what I've done, I've taken my pigtail that comes in the kit, I've hooked it into the hot and the ground wire here, into our tail light. You can see we have here. Let's put this back into the housing. And we'll hook this up just to make sure everything's going to work right. All right, you want to turn this on there, Russ? Hey, look at that. Wow, looks pretty good. Now, go ahead and shut it off. This also comes with a whip adapter that when you take this out, put your whip in here, slide this in, and you can run it through the daytime. So it makes it a lot easier for you.
These things are polycarbonate, they're glycerin filled, and talk about flexible. If you're worried about hitting a tree or something, these are good, and they're gonna last a long time, they're gonna look good. Pop this in place, it lights up. Obviously this one is red. They come in all different colors. They'll even custom make them for you. When that pin's in, this is great when you want to take it, put it on the trailer, you pull the pin out, slide it out, there's nothing to break. Really a neat product, tribal whips. Right now, we need to take a break. We got a lot more coming on Motorhead Garage, so don't go away.
This edition of Motorhead Garage, presented by ARP, is being brought to you by ARP, the world leader in fastener technology. Original Parts Group, the world's largest source for GMA body parts and accessories. Stage 8, the world's best locking fastener. And by Flowmaster, the exhaust technology company.
I can see right here, man, they got that all nicely reinforced. Close that, that'll help stiffen this up a little bit, won't it?
Absolutely, Dave.
That's pretty cool. Hey, welcome back to Motorhead Garage. Well, folks, we got ourselves a UTV, and this is from UTV Tech, and I got Shane Fredrickson here, who knows all about these little toys, and these are great toys, you know. Guys take these off the road, and they think they're running a Baja 1000 with them.
Absolutely. It's easy to do that in these things.
I'll bet it is. And, of course, you know, once you get them off-road, they beat and bang them around a lot, but you've made them so that you can make these things last a little bit longer too, right?
Longevity is key in this statement. Yes, sir, most definitely.
All right, now tell me a little bit about this one.
This one happens to be a Polaris RZR XP 1000. This machine, stock off the showroom floor, is probably one of the higher echelon machines out there as far as suspension systems and overall performance today. And what we've done is we've taken a really cool machine and made it a little more user-friendly for the average person that's going to go out and use this thing in the sticks.
Well, folks, here's what we have right over here. This is the stock version of what this is. Let me show you what we're going to do to it. Well, Shane, you know, we're underneath this thing, and it looks pretty good, but it still looks pretty vulnerable. What are some of the weak spots here?
Weakest points, starting from front to back, are going to be our front clip and A-arm, specifically starting in this area. The front clip specifically because this is where most of your impact is going to be absorbed and taken.
So you got a plate that goes over that, which
correct.
will reinforce this. And of course, we got something that's going to go over these A-arms here, because they look like they're kind of vulnerable hanging out there.
Absolutely.
What about farther back?
Farther back, what we're going to do is we're going to drop off or remove the stock skid place piece that we're looking at here.
That's just plastic.
That is just plastic. Coming out of the factory, they're all just armed with a little bit of a plastic feature that runs down the center guideline. And believe it or not, that's your passenger footwell and that's your driver's footwell.
Oh boy.
So we're going to cover those areas up as well and get rid of the weak points.
I can believe that, okay.
Absolutely. So we can see where we're going to drop the stock plastic down, taking out all the stock features, and we're going to come right back to this tail end, covering up the entire way from tip to tail and side to side on the machine.
What about these
rear swing arm covers?
Swing arm.
Correct. Those will also be included as well, Dave.
All right, well, I think Sam has all that stuff right over here. Let's take a look at it.
You know, I'm the lucky guy. I got to unpackage some of this stuff. Look at all this great stuff that UTV Tech makes. Now, these are what, lower control arm protectors?
Yes, front A-arm protectors, correct, sir.
Okay, and these?
Rear swing arm protectors.
All right, and this?
Front clip.
Front clip.
Yes, sir. That is the majority of the impact points.
All right, now this is pretty strong. This is a high tensile strength steel.
110,000 PSI, typical A36, and the reason they use the term 36 is it's 36,000 PSI.
Wow, so this is really tough stuff.
Absolutely.
So as thin as it is, it doesn't add a lot of weight, but it sure adds the strength.
All right, well, the first step in this thing is to go ahead now and get our skid plate on here. Shane, go ahead and take those two bolts out. Here's what we're going to be sticking on. As soon as he gets the two bolts out, we're using two of the mounting bolts that are already here to mount this on. Got them out?
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll slide this up like so. And now there's two holes back here that we line up. We got to drill a hole farther up through here in order to get our bolt through it so we can put our nut on there. So let me go ahead and get started on that, Shane. And we can get this going.
You get underneath one of these things and you can see they have a skid plate. It's plastic, it's flimsy. It's like having a plastic roll bar. Now, the boys at UTV Tech, these guys are enthusiasts. Not only build this stuff, but they ride these machines and they know all about it. What we have here is kind of the crown jewel. Before we put our rock sliders on, we have to put this on. And that guard that Davey just put on is going to come on and lip over the front of this, so you're not going to have a leading edge to catch anything. It's all high strength steel. It's on two pieces. That's the front. Here's the rear section. Once you put this on, you're not going to bend your chassis. You're not going to rip your rear differential out. You know, for about $2,500, you can save $9,000 or $10,000 worth of damage if you're seriously driving this thing. So we'll go ahead and install this before we put our rock sliders on. Right now, I need to give Davey a hand before he makes a career out of this machine. We need to take a quick break, but a lot more coming here at Motorhead Garage. Stick around.
This week on the Steel Spotlight, we've got what I think is a Chevelle, but you've got that maple leaf on your shirt, so I'm probably wrong.
Yeah, you're kind of dead wrong there. It's a GM of Canada Beaumont, built in 1969, so it's kind of our sister car to your substandard Chevelle.
Substandard Chevelle. Okay, so we've got the Canadian pride going on here. So be prideful. Tell me why this car's so great.
It's been in our family, actually, for about 20 years. It's become part of the family.
The dash, I know, is not standard in this car.
No, it's out of a 69 GTO. That's the way the cars were built. They had slightly different taillights, slightly different front end, and a couple options on the interior. Shared it with Chevelle or with the Pontiac Le Mans or GTO.
Well, you mentioned the taillights and the lights in general on this car. I know when you came in the other day, there's something really cool that you've done.
Yeah, there's been a lot of electrical upgrades to the car. We've got halo headlights in the car. We've got turn signals in the mirror on the car. We took out the parking light. Just tried to upgrade it so it's more modern, more safe to drive.
Well, I'm going to leave the debate over what's better, the Chevelle or the Beaumont, for people much smarter than me. But I tell you what, you Canadians did a pretty good job.
Motorhead Garage, presented by ARP, coming to you from Borla Commerce Park.
Hey, welcome back to Motorhead Garage. Well, Shane and I got our skid plate on here on the front. The next step, though, is to put on our lower control, our A-arm protector as well. Now, unique about this, tell me about this little piece.
That's a compression clamping strap. And what we do is we want to, in a sense, what we want to do, Dave, is make this A-arm protector part of the A-arm itself. And we're going to do that to reinforce and stiffen not only the A-arm, but actually to give the impact to the suspension system and not the A-arm itself.
All right, and you can see it goes on pretty easily and makes it a lot stiffer as well. So all we have to do is get this lined up, so we can get the bolt through the hole. And once we get this on, the next step, of course, put this little plate on. This gives us some protection here for our boot over here on our CV joint. Okay, so while I get this on, let's check out Sammy.
All right, now what I'm busy doing is putting on the rear swing arm protectors. They come with some great hardware. You got a carriage bolt that's fit right up here. The holes are already in the control arm. Slide it through, bolt it up, a little quick clamp. Then what you need to do is drill a hole through the arm. And then, of course, you got lock nuts. All the hardware comes with it. Everything you need, bolt it up. And this will really protect these rear swing arms. You go over rocks and stuff, you're not going to bend it, you're not going to break it, and keep your machine moving. That way you don't get hung up. Then we'll be ready for our underarm.
Okay, you can see it. There we go. Yeah. Now, Shane and I got our protectors here on our front. We've also installed our little guards here over to protect our CV joint boots. We're all set up here. And of course, we got our skid plate on here. And the next step, of course, is when we put our big panel down here, that's going to slide up under here. Okay, you ready, Sam?
Yep.
Now, this is a little heavy. You guys at home, I guess if
It's not bad.
Well, not bad when I got a big muscular guy like you helping.
Well, at home, you'd be laying on your back on the driveway doing it. You put it on your chest like you're doing a transmission.
Exactly, and I've done that before.
Yep. Get one of your friends over that knows how to use a screw gun. You hold it up, he bolts it up, there's nothing to it.
Now, I notice you're leaving these kind of loose for a reason.
That is correct. For fitment specifically, when we put that rear section on, we want to make sure everything mounts up because these are going to mate to it, so it's a seamless piece as you go over your obstacles.
There you go.
We're ready for that rear section.
Zip.
And those three will slide right up under.
Got
And then you can let Sam pack all the weight for you now, Dave.
I hate to see him struggle. Poor guy.
I'm not even struggling. You know, you're right. With the coolant lines for the radiator up front and the engine in the back being vulnerable, the factory's got them protected with a piece of plastic. You know, you're out having fun. You pop one of those water lines and braid it with a rock.
Shut you
melt
right
the motor
down.
before you pay attention.
It'll shut you right down.
There. These are all self-tapping screws, too, by the way. They're all stainless steel.
Correct, and included with the hardware kit.
Tell you what, it's first class all the way through.
Yep. Once this is in place, we can put our rock sliders on.
That is correct. Now, it may seem like a little overkill with those bolts. We're utilizing the factory hardware mounting positions, reinforced with the washer behind each one made out of the same material that we're utilizing in the skid plate. So when you do take those impacts, you're not getting that shift that occurs with standard stuff.
So the key here is just leave this all kind of loose till you get everything mounted and then tighten it all up.
That is correct. Those 3 center ones to tighten up, we'll be good to go. And that's your skid plate installation.
Okay, all right, Sam, are you ready?
Yep. Now once the bracket's put right here, these are all factory mounting holes. Slide your rock slider on top of that. Dave, you'll tuck that in behind that plastic piece.
Now you're going to get the bolts in there, Shane?
We're going to run the little bolts, and then for these, we're going to put just a little dab of red Loctite on there and make sure we've got a little bit of a nice seal, make sure we keep everything nice and tight. Okay. I'm going to slide that around a little bit on you guys so you get this lined up.
This kit is going to last and last and last.
Exactly. Well, we want to thank Shane and UTV Tech for stopping by and showing this. Thanks for coming by, Shane.
Thanks for having us, Dave.
Nice
I
job,
really
buddy.
appreciate
Thanks
it. Thank you much.
All right, folks, we got a lot more coming here on Motorhead Garage. Stick around. Hey, on this week's Industry Update, we're featuring Cover King. And these are the folks that make seat covers. They make a high-quality seat cover. They're out of California. They got all types of different styles, designs, materials, about anything you want. And they'll custom make them for you, too.
Absolutely. No tools required. I just put them on this Jeep. They work great, and different materials available, like this neoprene. This is wetsuit material, really protect your seat. I bring my dogs with me all the time. This does a great job.
This is what you got to have. And besides that, they also put a nice pocket here in the back so you can put maps, books, whatever you have in here. Plus, they got openings here for the side airbags.
That's right. All your controls are accessible. And of course, they got headrest coverage. You can get them for your favorite teams. So you can really protect your vehicle, dress it up, kind of customize it. And these are great seat covers to put on to protect your original equipment, especially if you got leather.
Exactly, and they give you a perfect fit every time because they're digitally scanned, so you get that perfect fit. You want to know more about Cover King and their seat covers? All you have to do is go to their website.
This edition of Motorhead Garage, presented by ARP, is being brought to you by Tribal Whips, the best LED lighted whip on the market today. Bling Star, accessorizing UTVs and ATVs worldwide. UTV Tech, power, performance, protection. And by K-Trax, home of the fastest all-season ATV track system on the market.
Taking those out okay?
Yeah, they're coming out great.
Great.
Hey, welcome back to Motorhead Garage. Well, anytime you get a nice little small block Chevy like we have right here and you want to really make it look great, you know, it's the detail that makes the big difference on that thing. And part of it, the detail, are the fasteners you put on it. You want to put on good fasteners, but you want to put on fasteners that look great as well. That's why we got this dress-up kit from ARP.
This is a complete engine fastener kit. You open it up, everything is all bubble packed, and I'm putting the header bolts on right now. These header bolts are perfect. You also get with it ARP's Ultra Torque Lube. Put it on the threads, and anything you're going to torque, this gives you the consistent torque as specified. That way you get good clamping force. Put a nice set of these ballless stainless steel headers on this thing, and the bolts are nice. They fit right in here. And these ARP bolts, by the way, they're 170,000 PSI. They're available in polished stainless like this, or black oxide chrome moly, and they're 12-point or 6-point, your choice.
Yeah, you put these things in like this, get them in, and it makes it nice.
And these small 12-point fasteners are actually clear in the headers. No dimpling or anything like that. On any of these ARP fasteners that you're going to use a torque wrench on, use their Ultra Torque assembly lube. Now, it comes in the package. You don't need much. What we're going to do is we're going to put some on the surface of this washer where it comes in contact with the bottom of the head. So that'll be a pivot point. You don't want any on the bottom of the washer, and you want some on the threads. And you don't need a lot. Coat that washer good, drop it in place, I'll run all these down. And when you got an aluminum intake manifold like this, that's a casting going on to cast aluminum heads, using a quality gasket, you're probably looking at 20 to 25 foot-pounds of torque is all. To get at these, you're going to need one of those little dog bone wrenches that adapts onto the end of your torque wrench.
One of the things I've got now are the new ARP bolts here for the water pump. One thing you have to remember, not all these holes are blind. Some of them go right into the water jacket here, the block. So you want to make sure you put some sealant on here. Just a little bit is all you need to do. That way, your bolt will be in good shape. It's not going to leak around there. Got my gaskets on. I put just a little bit of sealant on there just to hold them until I can get this thing started.
And by the way, you should use some thread sealant on the two center bolts on these Chevrolet manifolds. They go down into the galley area, and a lot of times you'll see little puddles of oil on an intake of a Chevrolet because they didn't put any sealer on the threads.
Okay, I'll get these tightened up here, just enough to snug it so I can get the other bolts in there. That'll hold the water pump on. There we go. And slide that in like so. And we'll run that up, and we'll be in pretty good shape there.
We got bolts for the fuel pump. We got valve cover fasteners. We got coil bracket, headers, oil pan, distributor bracket, even the thermostat housing. And you can see they got a chrome housing here, accessory housing. Look at these bolts. They don't even have a line on them. They're garden variety. But when those steel bolts marry this aluminum manifold, and you go to take them out down the road, bang, you tear the heads right off. So we'll put some really nice ARP stainless in there. Not going to corrode. It's not going to rust.
And we'll take this off. Oh, look at this, Sam. Make that thing stand out. All right, folks. Well, there you go. Take your ARP fasteners. You can see it takes a little while to do that, but boy, does that make that thing stand out. And it's that little detail that makes these engines not only look good, but look beautiful as well. We've run out of time. We'll see you again next time here at Motorhead Garage.
So long. Yeah, you leave me to do all this stuff. Where's the 9/16 open-end wrench we had? What did you do with that?